My sister told everyone I was too successful to deserve our parents' inheritance. So I showed up to the will reading with proof she'd been stealing from them for years. I handed my sister a manila envelope at our parents' funeral reception and watched her face go white when she saw the bank statements inside. My parents died in a car accident 3 weeks ago. My sister immediately started playing the grieving daughter card while also making sure everyone knew I didn't deserve any inheritance because I had a successful career. She told our aunts, uncles, cousins. She even posted on Facebook about how unfair it would be if I got anything since I was already rich and she was struggling as a single mom. The thing is, I'm not rich. I make decent money as a software engineer, but I have student loans and a mortgage. My sister works part-time by choice and married a guy who makes 6 figures. But she's always been good at playing victim. At the will reading, she brought her husband and our aunt for support. The lawyer started going through everything. My parents had about $400,000 in assets total. House, savings, retirement accounts. My sister interrupted before he could finish. I think we all know that my sister doesn't need this money. She's been successful her whole life while I've sacrificed everything to raise my kids. Our parents would want their money to go where it's actually needed. Our aunt nodded along. My sister's husband put his hand on her shoulder like she was being so brave. I let her finish. Then I said, "Can I share something before we continue?" I pulled out the folder I'd been holding. Bank statements. Venmo records. Screenshots. All going back 4 years. This shows $127,000 in transfers from mom and dad's accounts to my sister's accounts. Small amounts at first. A few hundred here and there. Then it got bigger. $5,000. $8,000. Sometimes $15,000 in a single month. The lawyer stopped writing. My sister's face went from white to red. "That's not what it looks like," she said. "Really?" "Because I also have the passwords you use to access their online banking." Mom kept a notebook of all her passwords in her desk. "You were the only other person with a key to their house besides me. And I found text messages on Dad's old phone where he asked you about a $10,000 withdrawal last year and you said you'd discuss it later. Except there's no record of you ever paying it back." My aunt looked at my sister. "Is this true?" My sister started crying. "They said I could borrow it. They knew I was struggling." "Borrowing means you pay it back," I said. "You never paid back a single dollar. And you kept taking more even after Dad got diagnosed with early-stage dementia. You knew he was starting to forget things and you used that." Her husband stood up. "This is ridiculous. Your parents helped us out. They were generous people." "They were generous," I said. "But you stole from them. And now you want to stand here and tell everyone I don't deserve an inheritance while you already took yours. Except you took mine too. You took what should have been split between us and you did it while they were alive and couldn't fully understand what was happening." The lawyer cleared his throat. "I think we need to address this separately. These allegations, if true, could constitute elder financial abuse and theft. The estate may need to pursue recovery." My sister grabbed her purse. "I don't have to listen to this." "You don't," I said. "But I already sent copies to the estate attorney and I'm filing a police report tomorrow. So you can leave, but this isn't going away." She left with her husband. Our aunt stayed behind and apologized. She said she had no idea. That was 2 weeks ago. My sister has been calling me nonstop. First she tried to say it was all a misunderstanding. Then she said Mom and Dad told her she could have the money. Then she offered to pay back half if I dropped it. Then she started threatening me, saying I was destroying our family and her kids would suffer because of me. I told her she destroyed our family when she stole from our parents. I told her the only reason her kids would suffer is because of her choices. And I blocked her number. The estate lawyer says we have a strong case for recovery. It might take years and we might not get everything back. But my sister is going to face consequences either way. Here's where it gets messier. My sister's husband filed for divorce last week. Apparently he didn't know about the stolen money either and he's furious. He's going for full custody and using the financial abuse as evidence she's unstable. My sister moved in with our aunt, who is now also mad at me for ruining my sister's marriage. Some of my cousins are on my side. Others think I should have handled it privately instead of exposing her in front of everyone. They say I'm being cruel and vindictive. That I should think about my nieces and how this affects them. But I keep thinking about my dad in his last year, getting confused about money, asking my sister where funds went, and her lying to his face. I think about my mom working extra shifts at 68 years old because they thought they were spending too much when really my sister was draining their accounts. I didn't start this for revenge. I started it because my sister stood at our parents' funeral and tried to take even more while playing the victim. But now that everything has blown up, I'm not backing down. She made choices. She can live with them. Am I wrong for not dropping this even though it's destroying what's left of my family? The police pressed charges. I didn't expect that part. I thought maybe they'd investigate and it would go nowhere. But the detective assigned to the case called me yesterday and said they have enough evidence to move forward with elder financial abuse and theft charges. Felony level because of the amount. My sister could face actual prison time. My aunt called me screaming about it. Not the aunt who was at the will reading. A different one. Apparently my sister has been doing a full press campaign with the extended family about how I'm destroying her life over a misunderstanding. She told them our parents gave her that money willingly and now I'm weaponizing it because I'm jealous of her kids. Your sister is going to lose everything because you couldn't just let this go, my aunt said. She made mistakes but she's still your sister. She's still family. She stole from our parents while dad had dementia, I said. She watched them stress about money they didn't actually spend. That's not a mistake. That's a choice she made over and over for 4 years. They would have given her that money if she asked. Then why didn't she ask? Why did she take it behind their backs and lie about it? My aunt hung up on me. But here's the thing that made me even angrier. I found more. I was going through my dad's documents for the estate and I found a loan application from 2 years ago. My parents tried to take out a home equity line of credit for $50,000. They were denied because their debt-to-income ratio was too high. My parents didn't have debt. They paid off their house in 2008. They had one car payment and that was it. Except my sister had been listing them as co-signers on credit cards without telling them. I found 3 cards in the paperwork. All maxed out. All with my parents' names on them. Another $40,000 in debt they didn't know about. My dad was denied a loan he needed for medical expenses because my sister destroyed their credit. I sent everything to the detective. And to my sister's divorce attorney. And to the estate lawyer. My sister found out because her attorney called her. She showed up at my apartment at 11 at night banging on my door. I didn't let her in but I could hear her through the door. "You're trying to put me in prison," she screamed. "I have kids. What happens to them when I'm in jail? You want them to grow up without a mother? You should have thought about that before you committed felonies," I said. "I needed that money. You don't understand what it's like to struggle. You don't struggle. Your husband makes 6 figures. You chose not to work full-time. And you stole from our parents while they actually struggled because of you." She started crying. "I'll pay it all back. I swear. Just drop the charges." "I can't drop the charges. The state is prosecuting. And even if I could, I wouldn't. You had 4 years to do the right thing. You didn't. Please," she said. "I'm begging you. I made mistakes but I don't deserve this." I opened the door then. She looked terrible. Her eyes were swollen and her hair was a mess. "You stole $167,000 from our parents," I said. "You forged their signatures on credit applications. You lied to Dad's face while he was losing his memory. You stood at their funeral and tried to take even more. And the only reason you're sorry now is because you got caught. So no. You don't get forgiveness. You get consequences." I closed the door and she stood there crying in the hallway for 20 minutes before she left. The next day I found out why she was so desperate. Her soon-to-be ex-husband's lawyer subpoenaed all the financial records. He's arguing she's not fit to have primary custody because of the theft and financial crimes. He wants full custody with supervised visitation for her. And he's refusing to pay spousal support because she defrauded his in-laws, which he considers grounds for fault in the marriage. My sister's looking at losing her kids, going to prison, and coming out with nothing. Some of my cousins are organizing a family meeting. They want me to come and work this out before it goes any further. They keep saying our parents wouldn't want this. That family is supposed to forgive. But I keep thinking about the home equity loan denial. My dad needed surgery. They were trying to get money to cover the parts insurance wouldn't. And they were denied because of my sister's fraud. My dad delayed his surgery by 6 months because they couldn't afford it. He was in pain that whole time. My sister did that. Not me. I'm not going to the family meeting. I already know what they want. They want me to make this easier for her. They want me to be the bigger person and let it go so the family can move on. But why should I? She didn't think about family when she was stealing. She didn't think about forgiveness when she was lying to our parents' faces. She thought about herself and what she wanted and she took it. Now she can live with what she took. My sister tried to break into my parents' house. The neighbors called the cops. She was trying to get in through the back door at 3 in the morning. When the police showed up she told them she was looking for documents that would prove our parents wanted her to have that money. She said I was hiding evidence. The police arrested her. She spent the night in jail and her ex had to pick up the kids from our aunt's house in the morning. He used it as more ammunition in the custody filing. Her lawyer called me. Not to threaten or anything. Actually the opposite. He wanted me to know he was dropping her as a client because she's not following his advice and he thinks she's becoming unstable. He said off the record that I should be careful because she's fixating on me as the source of all her problems. That was 4 days ago. Yesterday the family meeting happened without me. My aunt hosted it at her house. Apparently 20 people showed up. Cousins, uncles, aunts, even some family friends. My sister showed up with a whole presentation. She had printed out screenshots of text messages between her and our mom about needing money. She had cards our mom sent her. She had photos of family gatherings trying to prove how close they were. My cousin, who's still on my side, recorded part of it and sent it to me. I wish she hadn't. My sister was crying the whole time. She's trying to put me in prison, she kept saying. Our parents would be devastated if they knew what she was doing to me. They loved my kids. They wouldn't want them to lose their mother over this. One of my uncles apparently stood up and said I was being cruel and vindictive. That I was using the legal system as a weapon. That our parents raised us better than this. My cousin who sent the recording also told me what happened after. The family voted. Voted like it was a democracy. 18 people voted that I should drop everything and work out a private repayment plan with my sister. 2 people voted that I was right to pursue it. My cousin was one of them. She left after the vote. Then they started planning an intervention. They're going to show up at my apartment next week. All of them. They want to surround me with family and make me understand what I'm doing is wrong. I called my lawyer. He said I should document everything and consider a restraining order if they harass me. He also said the criminal case is moving forward regardless of what I do now. The DA's office has taken over and they're treating it as elder abuse. My sister's preliminary hearing is in 3 weeks. But here's what made me absolutely lose it. I got a call from my dad's old doctor. The one who treated him before he died. She said my sister had called her office trying to get medical records. She wanted documentation that our dad's dementia was severe enough that he couldn't make financial decisions. She was going to use it to argue he gave her the money during a period when he wasn't mentally competent, which would mean it wasn't really theft. Except that backfires on her completely. If dad wasn't competent, then taking money from him is even worse. It's literally the definition of elder financial abuse. The doctor wanted me to know because she found it disturbing. She said my dad's dementia was early stage. He was forgetful and confused sometimes, but he could still make decisions. But my sister was apparently trying to paint him as completely incompetent to justify what she did. I can't even describe how angry that made me. She's trying to destroy our dad's memory to save herself. She's trying to make it sound like he was too far gone to know what was happening when really he was just confused and trusted her. I have voicemails from her now. She calls from different numbers because I blocked her. The messages start out desperate and then get angry. In one she's crying and begging. In another she's screaming that I'm a vindictive bitch who's destroying her life for revenge. In another she says our parents are watching from heaven and they're ashamed of me. I saved all of them and sent them to my lawyer. My ex-brother-in-law's attorney reached out too. He wants to use my evidence in the custody case. He's offering to cover my legal fees if I need help with anything related to the estate or the criminal case. I think he feels guilty that his kids' college funds were partly built on stolen money from their grandparents. He told me he's setting up a trust with whatever he gets in the divorce settlement to pay back what my sister stole. At least someone in this situation has a conscience. The preliminary hearing is in 3 weeks. I have to testify. My lawyer says my sister's new public defender is going to try to make me look vindictive and cruel. They're going to argue this is a family dispute that shouldn't involve the courts. They're going to say our parents would have given her the money anyway, so it's not really theft. I don't care. I have the bank records. I have the credit card fraud. I have dad's text messages asking where the money went. I have the loan denial. I have everything. My sister made a choice every single time she logged into their accounts. Every time she transferred money. Every time she lied to dad's face. Every time she watched them stress about finances. Those were choices. Now she gets to live with them. The family can have their intervention. They can vote and plan and organize all they want. It doesn't change anything. The state is prosecuting. The divorce is happening. The custody battle is moving forward. And I'm not backing down. Some of my cousins have started texting me Bible verses about forgiveness. About how family comes first. About how our parents wouldn't want this. But our parents also wouldn't have wanted their daughter to steal from them and then lie about it for 4 years. They wouldn't have wanted to delay medical care because of debt they didn't actually owe. They wouldn't have wanted their trust violated by someone they loved. My sister chose herself over them every single time it mattered. I'm just making sure she faces the consequences for those choices. My sister took a plea deal. Her public defender convinced her she'd lose at trial. The evidence was too strong and the DA wasn't backing down. She pleaded guilty to elder financial abuse and identity theft. The judge sentenced her to 4 years in prison with credit for time served. She'll probably do 2.5 with good behavior. The courtroom was half empty. My aunt was there. 2 cousins. My sister's ex showed up but sat in the back. I sat 3 rows behind the defense table and watched her stand there in an orange jumpsuit while the judge read the sentence. She didn't cry. I thought she would, but she just stood there staring at nothing. When they led her away, she looked back at me once. I don't know what she expected to see. I didn't look away. The custody hearing happened a week later. Her ex got full custody. My sister gets supervised visitation once a month after she's released. The judge said her actions demonstrated a pattern of deception and poor judgment that made her unfit for primary custody. Her kids are 8 and 11. They'll be teenagers when she gets out. I haven't seen them since the funeral. Their dad doesn't want me around because I'm connected to all of this. He's not angry at me exactly. He's just trying to protect them from the whole situation. I understand it, but it still hurts. Those are my nieces and I used to see them every month. The estate settled. We recovered about $90,000 after legal fees. The rest is gone. My sister spent it or it's tied up in assets we can't touch. I put my half in a trust for my niece's college. Their dad did the same with his settlement from the divorce. At least they'll have something when they're older. The family intervention never happened. After the plea deal, half of them just stopped talking to me. No dramatic confrontation or final argument. They just went quiet. Blocked me on social media. Stopped responding to texts. My aunt sent me one message that said, "I hope you're happy now," and that was it. The cousins who voted in my favor at that meeting are still around. One of them told me the family group chat has been brutal. People saying I destroyed my sister's life. That I'm heartless and cruel. That our parents would be ashamed. My cousin defended me a few times, but eventually she just left the chat. She said it wasn't worth it. I got a letter from my sister 2 months after sentencing. It came to my apartment. I almost threw it away without reading it, but something made me open it. She didn't apologize. Not really. She said she understood why I did what I did. That she probably would have done the same thing in my position. Then she spent 3 pages explaining how hard her life was and how desperate she felt and how she never meant for things to go this far. She said she thought our parents would never notice. That she'd pay it back eventually. That it wasn't supposed to hurt anyone. At the end she asked if I'd bring the kids to visit her. She said their dad won't let them come and she's desperate to see them. She said she knows I'm angry, but the kids don't deserve to lose their mom. I didn't respond. I thought about it for weeks, but I couldn't figure out what to say. She's right that the kids don't deserve this. But she's the one who put them in this position. Not me. I did reach out to their dad though. I asked if there was any way I could see them. Maybe take them for ice cream or something. He said no. He said the girls are in therapy and they're finally starting to process everything. He doesn't want to confuse them by bringing me back into their lives right now. Maybe in a few years when things settle. I said I understood. I don't know if I actually do, but I said it anyway. Work has been the only normal thing. Nobody there knows what happened. I show up and write code and go to meetings and pretend everything is fine. Sometimes I catch myself in the middle of a conversation and realize I haven't thought about any of this for 20 minutes. Those moments feel like breathing after holding your breath underwater. But then I go home and it all comes back. I dream about my parents a lot. Sometimes they're angry at me. Sometimes they're disappointed. Sometimes they just look sad and ask why I couldn't let it go. I wake up feeling like I did something wrong even though logically I know I didn't. My therapist says that's normal. That I'm processing grief and betrayal and family trauma all at once. She says I did the right thing by holding my sister accountable, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. She's right, but it doesn't help. I went to my parents' house last week. It's still sitting empty while we figure out what to do with it. I have the keys. I sat in the kitchen where I used to have breakfast with my dad before school. Everything was exactly the same. Same table. Same chairs. Same coffee maker on the counter. I found my mom's notebook. The one with all the passwords. It was still in her desk drawer. I sat there looking at her handwriting. Small and neat. All these little notes to herself about which password went with which account. She was so careful about keeping track of everything. My sister used that notebook to steal from them. She took my mom's carefulness and turned it into a weapon. I locked up the house and haven't been back since. Some days I think about what would have happened if I'd just let it go. If I'd split the estate with my sister and never said anything about the money. The family would still be intact. My nieces would still have their mom. My sister wouldn't be in prison. Everything would be easier. But my parents would still be dead and my sister would still have gotten away with it. She'd be at family dinners and holiday parties acting like nothing happened. She'd probably keep playing victim about how hard her life is. And I'd have to sit there knowing the truth and pretending I didn't. I couldn't do that. I still can't. My sister made choices. Every single time she logged into those accounts and transferred money. Every time she forged their signatures. Every time she lied to my dad's face while he was losing his memory. Those were all choices. She chose herself over them over and over again for 4 years. I didn't put her in prison. Her choices did that. But I'm the one who's alone now. I'm the one who lost my family twice. First my parents and then everyone else. The estate lawyer called last week. Everything is finalized. He's closing the file. He said I did the right thing and he hopes I find peace with it. I thanked him and hung up and sat in my apartment staring at the wall for an hour. I don't know if I'll ever find peace with it. Maybe that's not the point. Maybe the point is just that it's done. My sister is serving her sentence. My parents' money was recovered as much as it could be. The truth came out. Justice happened. It doesn't feel like victory. It feels like walking away from a car crash. You're alive and you're not hurt, but everything around you is destroyed and you can't stop seeing it when you close your eyes. I still have my sister's letter. It's in my desk drawer. Sometimes I take it out and reread the part where she asks about the kids. I think about writing back. I think about saying yes, I'll bring them to visit. I think about trying to rebuild something from all of this wreckage. But then I remember my dad asking her where the money went. I remember my mom working extra shifts at 68. I remember the loan denial. I remember all of it. And I put the letter back in the drawer. Maybe someday I'll respond. Maybe someday I'll try to fix things with whatever family is left. Maybe someday this will hurt less. But not today.